As of the time this video was made, Russia has experienced the loss of nearly 2,000 tanks in Ukraine, with over 50% of these losses attributed to the T-72 tank. Despite being one of the most widely used tanks globally, the war in Ukraine has brought to light significant issues that might prompt other countries still using the T-72 to consider retiring them from active service and placing them in museums or scrapyards. To understand the problems Russia has encountered with its T-72 tanks, it is important to examine the tank's origins and the multitude of challenges it faces today. During the Cold War, the USSR recognized its numerical advantage over the West in major conflicts and thus prioritized the mass production of tanks over crew survivability. This approach is evident in the design flaws of the T-72. Weighing approximately 20 tons less than comparable Western main battle tanks of its time, the T-72 achieved this weight reduction by eliminating one crew position. Traditional tanks typically relied on a four-person crew consisting of a commander, driver, loader, and gunner. The Soviets eliminated the loader position by introducing the world's first autoloader in the T-64, enabling a smaller and lighter tank. However, the T-64 itself had numerous issues, such as an underpowered engine and poor night fighting capabilities. Additionally, it was expensive to produce. Consequently, the Soviets aimed to create a newer, cheaper model, resulting in weight reduction. Unfortunately, this compromise led to a fatal lack of armor protection. The initial armor protection for the first-generation T-72s comprised simple steel plates, reminiscent of World War II tanks. These early T-72s, known as the Urals, were swiftly upgraded in subsequent variations, such as the T-72A and T-72B, by incorporating laminate armor into the tank's design. This was similar to the use of composite armor in Western tanks to enhance flexibility and strength. However, even with these upgrades, the T-72's armor proved inadequate. During the Israeli invasion of Lebanon in 1982, T-72 tanks suffered significant losses, even from Israeli 105mm tank guns mounted on their vehicles. Many of these losses resulted from penetrating shots through the frontal armor plate, known as the glacis, which is the strongest part of the T-72's armor. Interestingly, Syria captured Israeli explosive reactive armor (ERA) during the same conflict and provided samples to the Soviet Union for analysis. The Soviet engineers utilized this Israeli technology to accelerate their own ERA program, resulting in increasingly sophisticated ERA on each new generation of T-72 tanks. However, ERA poses problems for the T-72, such as adding weight to an already underpowered vehicle and limited effectiveness against modern Western anti-tank systems. In an effort to improve the T-72's armor, Russia has installed the latest and most advanced armor systems, known as Active Protection Systems, APS, on modern battlefields. APS employs a series of radars to detect incoming threats and onboard missiles to destroy those threats before they reach the tank. While the Afghanet is the newest APS system employed on Russia's T-14 tanks, the Arena system is the first-generation system used on the majority of its armored force, including T-72B3 tanks refurbished since 2016. However, even this advanced system has not significantly improved tank survivability. Data shows that a considerable number of upgraded T-72B3 tanks have been destroyed, damaged, or captured in Ukraine, resulting in a major setback for Russian tank technology. The upgrades implemented under the T-72B3 program aim to make the T-72 a viable tank on modern battlefields. These upgrades included improved ERA and Arena APS systems, as well as enhancements to gun stabilizers, digital radios, advanced optics, and new fire control computers. Despite these advancements, the T-72B3 tanks were easily overcome by Ukrainian forces, forcing Russia to rely on older T-72A and B models with outdated equipment ill-suited for a modern battlefield. Among the outdated components are the T-72's gun and stabilizers. Although the tank boasts an impressive 125mm main gun, larger than those found on most Western tanks like the M1 Abrams, several factors limit its effectiveness. One such factor is the T-72's limited elevation range, which falls short compared to Western tanks, restricting its ability to engage targets in terms of distance and vertical position. Additionally, the T-72's main gun can withstand only about half the pressure before failure compared to Western tanks, which compromises its range and firepower. Western tanks, with their higher pressure tolerance, can fire slightly smaller caliber rounds with greater propellant power, enabling them to engage T-72s from a distance and with greater force. The T-72 also faces significant issues with its optics. Compared to Western tanks, the T-72 has limited visibility due to the crew's reliance on a few small ports and the commander's lack of an all-around camera view. Moreover, the T-72 suffers from poor visibility at night and in adverse weather conditions, further impairing its effectiveness on the battlefield. While some T-72B3 tanks were equipped with modern Sosna-U gunsights offering high-quality night vision and thermal sights, these are now rare due to many of these tanks being destroyed in limited production caused by sanctions. The production of Sosna-U sights relied on components from a French company, which is no longer available, prompting Russia to claim the development of similar gunsights. However, these limited production runs have resulted in subpar quality, leading many Western analysts to suggest that the effective visual range of the T-72 has been significantly reduced, even with the new sights. In conclusion, the T-72 tank has faced substantial challenges highlighted by the war in Ukraine. Its high losses and design flaws, including compromised armor protection, limited elevation range, inadequate gun performance, and poor optics, have led to calls for its retirement in other countries. Despite attempts to enhance its survivability through ERA and APS systems, the T-72 has struggled to match the capabilities of modern Western tanks. These setbacks represent a major regression in tank technology for Russian forces and have far-reaching implications beyond the loss of life.